10 hidden signs a woman is in love with you but scared to show it. Modern Stoic. Love is not about finding the right person, but creating the right relationship. Anonymous. Often, women don't openly express their feelings. The woman who cares for you the most may be the one hiding it the hardest. She could be protecting herself from past hurt, fearing rejection, or simply unsure of how you feel about her. But here's the truth: even when a woman is in love but hesitant to show it, she leaves behind subtle yet unmistakable clues. These signs are often small, so much so that many men overlook them. If you've ever found yourself asking, "Does she feel the same way? Or am I just imagining it?" This is for you. In this guide, we're going to uncover the 10 undeniable signs she's in love with you, yet too afraid to admit it. And trust me, the 7th sign will leave you with no doubt. Let's dive in and explore these hidden signals. 1. She gets quiet or awkward during intimate moments. You must understand this: some of the most powerful emotions leave people speechless. When a woman is falling for you but hasn't gathered the courage to show it yet, even the smallest romantic gestures can feel like a tidal wave of overwhelming emotion. That lingering gaze in her eyes, a compliment that catches her off guard, or a light, playful touch on the arm. These small acts can suddenly shift the entire energy between you two. And that's when she might retreat. When she feels that spark, her response might be to pull back emotionally and physically. She might go silent, laugh awkwardly, or steer the conversation to something safe like work or the weather. You might interpret this behavior as disinterest, but you'd be wrong. The truth is that her feelings are real and raw, and she simply doesn't know how to handle them. You must recognize that in these moments, she is trying to keep her heart under control. It's not that she doesn't want to lean into the connection. It's just that her inner world is in turmoil, and she's unsure how to deal with it. Let's take an example. Imagine the two of you sitting close together, enjoying a pleasant conversation. You drop a casual compliment, saying how beautiful her smile is, intending to make her feel good. Instead of basking in the moment and returning the compliment, she suddenly looks down, fiddles with her phone, or awkwardly changes the subject. You might feel confused, even rejected, but in reality, her heart is racing. She's feeling something deep, but her mind is scrambling for safety. This is a situation where she's emotionally conflicted. On one hand, she feels the connection with you, but on the other hand, she's terrified of exposing herself, of being vulnerable, or worse, of being rejected. So she retreats, using her nervous laugh or distraction as a defense mechanism. This is where modern Stoicism can serve as a guide. The blessing of Stoicism teaches us the power of emotional control, of observing our feelings without letting them dictate our actions. You must remember that she isn't shutting you out because she doesn't care. She's protecting herself. Her fear is real, but it's rooted in the vulnerability that comes with opening up emotionally. This is the delicate dance of the modern Stoic, balancing emotional depth and self-protection. The old Stoic wisdom suggests that the highest virtue is to remain calm, collected, and wise in the face of uncertainty. You mustn't rush her or make her feel pressured. Don't take her retreat personally. Instead, be patient and understanding, showing her that you're someone who is emotionally steady, capable of handling the emotional roller coaster she's going through. In these moments, it's crucial to show her that you're not looking to rush things or force an emotional connection that she's not ready to make. You must embody the modern Stoic approach, remaining calm, composed, and secure in your own emotional stability. Let her take her time. Understand that this is not a sign of rejection. It's simply a sign that she needs more time to process her feelings. Do not act out of desperation or frustration. The blessing of Stoicism will help you see the situation for what it truly is: a woman grappling with her emotions and fears. The old Stoic teachings remind us to be patient with others, recognizing that emotional growth and understanding take time. Don't try to force her to open up before she's ready. Be the steady, understanding presence she can lean on when she's ready to let down her walls. In time, she will realize that you're a safe space for her to be vulnerable. Until then, stay grounded, keep your emotional balance intact, and give her the space she needs. 2. She engages in push-pull behavior. When love is held back, it often creates emotional waves that crash in and then pull away just as quickly. This is a crucial point to understand. When a woman is in love with you but is too scared to fully embrace those feelings, she may unintentionally fall into a pattern of push-pull behavior. One moment, she's texting you first, laughing freely and opening up in conversation, almost as if she can't get enough of your company. The next, she suddenly pulls back, becoming distant, slow to respond, or even emotionally closed off. It's a subtle game, and it's happening not because she's losing interest, but because she's caught in a battle with herself. You must recognize that this pattern is not a sign of manipulation. It's a self-protective instinct at play. Her heart longs for closeness and connection, but her mind, weighed down by the fear of vulnerability and potential heartbreak, whispers warnings in her ear. Her feelings are real, but they scare her. The best way to think of this is like a pendulum. Her emotions swing from one extreme to the other, close, then distant, hot, then cold. She craves the connection, but the vulnerability that comes with it feels like a risk she's not always ready to take. You must know this: these shifts aren't necessarily about you, even though they may feel like a rejection. Instead, they're about her trying to navigate her own internal battle. It's about her fear of getting hurt, the same fear that drives her to distance herself emotionally when things get too close for comfort. For example, after spending a wonderful evening talking and bonding with you, she might suddenly become cold, unavailable, or emotionally distant the very next day, acting as though nothing happened. She'll retreat into her own space, leaving you wondering what went wrong. Don't be fooled. That shift can be incredibly confusing. But it's a sign that she's emotionally overwhelmed and is pulling away to regain control. It's like she's stepping back to get a clearer perspective, or simply to protect herself from the intensity of her emotions. The truth is, she feels a deep connection to you. But she also knows how vulnerable she is by allowing herself to fully open up. In these moments, the Stoicism you bring to the table matters. The Stoic lessons on patience and emotional composure are invaluable here. You must remain steady and composed, even when her behavior feels like a roller coaster. Don't chase her when she pulls away. Instead, take a step back. Keep your emotional balance intact, and let her come to you. Stoicism teaches that the best way to handle these kinds of emotional waves is not to react impulsively, but to respond with calmness and understanding. This doesn't mean that you should ignore her. It simply means that you should approach the situation with wisdom, allowing her to process her emotions in her own time and at her own pace. By embodying a Stoic life, you will send her a signal that you are emotionally stable and capable of handling the complexities of her feelings. You must be the rock in the storm, showing her that you're not going to crumble when she experiences emotional turbulence. In time, she'll realize that you're someone she can trust to handle the depth of her emotions without judgment or haste. You mustn't push her. but don't be passive either. Let her know that you're here for her, offering her the emotional space to move through her fears at her own pace. Remember that the Stoic life isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being strong enough to allow the other person the time and space they need, without rushing them or becoming frustrated. If you recognize this pattern in your relationship, drop a comment right now. I understand the push-pull. Like this video. Subscribe for more unshakable wisdom. And remember, love is powerful, but fear is its greatest opponent. 3. She opens up emotionally in small doses. When it comes to understanding how a woman shows her love, particularly when she is afraid to reveal it, you must look beyond the obvious and delve into the subtle emotional cues. Real emotional connections don't always come in loud, dramatic confessions. More often than not, they start with quiet moments, each revealing a small piece of her soul. It's in these smaller gestures, these fragments of vulnerability, that the truth of her feelings slowly emerges. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." The process of love is not one of grand gestures or fast movements. It's a slow, deliberate, and sometimes painful unveiling. A woman who is in love but afraid to show it will often drop small bits of emotional truth. She won't rush in with a full confession, but instead, she will share parts of herself slowly, testing the waters to see how you'll respond. This is not weakness, this is strategy. She is cautiously feeling you out, ensuring that you are someone who will respect her heart. According to psychology, when someone is emotionally vulnerable but unsure of how they'll be received, they tend to reveal themselves in small doses. It's like opening a door to see if it's safe to walk through. A woman who is afraid to fully expose herself emotionally will often drop a small, personal detail, a mention of something painful in her past, or a glimpse into her deepest hopes for the future. These aren't random moments. Each one is a calculated act of emotional risk. She is showing you a sliver of her inner world, but she's waiting for you to prove you're worthy of more. This isn't an accident. It's a deliberate process that requires patience and understanding. She's trying to gauge if you'll respect her vulnerability. She's trying to determine if she can trust you with more. She's not just testing your patience, but also your character. Will you honor her feelings? Will you prove to be the kind of man who can handle the depth of her heart? Every word she shares is a form of communication. It may seem small, a passing remark or a fleeting glance, but it's never random. She's revealing enough to let you know that there's more underneath the surface, but she's not ready to dive in completely. She needs to see if you can navigate this delicate process with care. Each emotional opening is a small challenge, a test of your ability to connect with her on a deeper level. If you recognize these signs, you're being given an opportunity, a chance to show her that you are the kind of man who will respect her heart, even if it takes time to fully unlock it. Here's where the Stoic principles come into play. As a man, you must show patience, strength, and emotional resilience. Like a Stoic, you must remain calm and confident, understanding that relationships, just like life itself, require time to develop and evolve. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This means that the emotional walls she's carefully built are not obstacles. They are the path to deeper connection. You must approach these walls with patience and strength, acknowledging her vulnerability, not rushing her, and allowing her to reveal herself at her own pace. In a world that often rushes for immediate gratification, this slow, deliberate process might seem frustrating. But remember, the greatest rewards often require the greatest patience. Don't rush to force her into full emotional exposure. Instead, embrace the small steps she takes towards you. Recognize that every little piece of her inner world she shares with you is a trust-building moment. Each piece is like a small victory, one that adds to the foundation of your relationship. Your ability to understand and honor her emotional journey will set you apart. You must be steady in your response, unwavering in your commitment, and always ready to support her, even in the smallest of ways. This is the essence of what it means to master relationships. By showing unwavering patience, by understanding the deeper emotional currents at play, and by being a man of strength and resilience, you can not only win her heart, but also build a lasting and meaningful connection. This isn't about playing games or making grand gestures, it's about understanding the true principles of love, trust, and emotional connection, and applying those principles with the wisdom and resolve of a Stoic. What stands in the way becomes the way. If you are patient, firm, and resolute, you will find that the slow unveiling of her heart is the very path to deeper connection and eventual love. Keep showing her that you are worthy of the trust she's offering, and in time, her love will bloom in full. For she gets nervous around you. When a woman is in love with you but scared to show it, there's a certain kind of nervous energy that fills the air whenever you're near. It's not just awkwardness, it's her heart racing, her mind whirling, trying to keep her emotions under wraps while her body betrays her. A modern Stoic would recognize this. A woman may not say it outright, but her body language screams her feelings, revealing what words cannot. You'll notice her fidgeting with her hair, tapping her fingers incessantly, or perhaps even becoming unusually clumsy. It's almost as though she can't control her own body in the presence of someone she's so deeply invested in. Her voice could waver, crack at the wrong moments, or she might suddenly stumble on her words, forgetting what she was even saying. That's not her being shy or uninterested, no. It's something far more profound. This is the blessing of Stoicism at play, where her feelings are deep but her fear of vulnerability holds her back. The old Stoic would say she's caught between the desire to open up and the fear of being exposed. She doesn't want to be seen too clearly. The thought of laying her heart on the line without knowing how you feel is terrifying. And yet, every nervous glance, every stuttered sentence is her quiet cry for reassurance. She's hoping you'll pick up on the signs, understand her nervousness, and, in some way, offer the reassurance she desperately seeks. So when she's around you, don't mistake the nervous energy for disinterest. It's her way of hiding the intensity of her feelings, of guarding her heart while hoping you'll give her the courage to be open. This delicate balance between emotion and fear is the essence of love that is both tender and vulnerable, a dance that only the most perceptive can truly understand. You must know, this is love in its purest form, where the fear of rejection stands shoulder to shoulder with the hope of connection. Be patient, be observant, and understand that this nervousness is her silent language of affection, a language that you must decipher with the wisdom of the modern Stoic. If you recognize the signs of a woman's nervousness around you, don't ignore them. Like, comment below, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights. Comment with nervous energy is her silent way of saying, I care. 5. She gets jealous but tries to hide it. Jealousy has a quiet way of creeping in, even when someone does their best to suppress it. It's not always loud, it's not always obvious, but trust me, it's there. You don't need to be a mind reader to notice the subtle shifts that give it away. A woman who's secretly in love with you but afraid to show it might not throw a tantrum or make it clear that she's bothered, but her behavior will start to shift in small, undeniable way. One minute, she's laughing at your jokes. The next, she's quieter, less engaged, as though something in her has dimmed. It's not anger. It's a complex mix of fear, longing, and restraint, something deeper that you might miss if you're not paying attention. You must recognize this shift for what it is. You must be perceptive. Imagine you're talking about another woman in front of her. Maybe you mention a colleague, a friend, or someone you've recently met. She might look calm on the surface, but look closely. Her words start to taper off. Her energy changes. Suddenly, the atmosphere between you both feels a little more tense, a little colder. Even if she's outwardly composed, that's jealousy quietly simmering underneath, trying desperately not to show itself. A Stoic life is one where emotions are controlled. But even the most disciplined of us can't always hide the subtle human reaction to competition. Stoicism teaches us to keep our emotions in check. But it's a tough lesson when it comes to matters of the heart. Jealousy in this form is usually more about fear than anything else. Fear of losing something precious, fear of being vulnerable, and fear of putting oneself out there, only to be rejected. It's not about being angry with you, but rather an internal struggle, an overwhelming silent battle within herself. According to Stoic lessons, we're all bound to experience moments of emotional discomfort when faced with competition. And this goes for her, too. The more deeply a woman feels for you, the harder it becomes to keep her emotions in check when someone else enters the picture. You must understand, though, that this subtle shift is a sign of love. It's a sign of emotional investment. She doesn't act on the jealousy because she's still guarding herself. She won't tell you that she's bothered, because to admit it would be to show just how much she cares. Then she'll internalize it, retreat into herself, and hold her emotions close, like a well-guarded treasure. But if you're observant enough, you'll notice that spark dim just a little. That's the moment she's holding back, not out of disinterest, but out of self-preservation. This is where Stoicism comes into play. A Stoic life isn't about ignoring your emotions, it's about managing them. A woman in love but afraid to show it is living by a modern Stoic philosophy, holding back her feelings to avoid vulnerability. And while Stoicism can help her control her reactions, it doesn't eliminate the emotions themselves. They simply simmer beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment or the wrong trigger to make themselves known. Don't mistake her silence or the subtle shift in behavior for disinterest. It's a protective shield, a way of guarding her heart from the possibility of rejection. It's not easy to hide jealousy, but she's trying. You must pay attention to those small signs. You must recognize that behind every quiet moment, every reserved look, there's a deeper emotion at play. And if you truly care, you'll see through the silence and understand the unspoken language of love and fear. Be patient. Be perceptive. The modern Stoic understands that love is complex and often hidden beneath layers of self-restraint. You must understand it too. 6. She initiates contact but hesitates to go deeper. In the labyrinth of modern relationships, where emotions often hide behind facades, it is crucial to recognize the subtle signs of affection. When a woman loves you but is too scared to show it, one sign you'll encounter is her consistent yet hesitant attempts to reach out. She may initiate contact, whether it's a text, a call to check in, or a lighthearted video just to stay on your radar. But she always keeps things at arm's length. It's not that she doesn't care, rather, her love is in conflict with her fear. She craves your attention and closeness because it gives her comfort, but she hesitates to dive into deeper emotional waters. She understands the risks of exposing her heart, and thus, she stops herself from going too far, not because she doesn't want to connect, but because she fears what that connection might truly mean. Remember, Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This isn't about revenge or games. It's about self-preservation. A woman afraid to reveal her feelings is simply protecting herself from the vulnerability that comes with true emotional intimacy. As men of wisdom, like those who follow the Stoic principles, we must understand that fear is not weakness, but an ancient defense mechanism. You must not confuse hesitation for disinterest. When she keeps things light, it's her way of staying in control, maintaining distance while still trying to stay close. Don't mistake her evasions for rejection, nor her reluctance for a lack of affection. Take the time to recognize that these actions are rooted in fear, not in indifference. You must understand that beneath her actions, she is battling the weight of her emotions. Your task is not to chase her in haste, but to be present, steady, and grounded. Be patient. Don't force her to open up. Instead, let her see that you are not rushing her, but that you are, like the Stoics, calm and in control of your own emotions. By doing so, you create a safe space for her to eventually let down her walls when she is ready. In the same breath, you must remember to apply the wisdom of the Stoic principles to your own actions. Don't be impulsive. Don't seek immediate gratification. That is the way of the wise. By embodying Marcus Aurelius' teachings, you will remain steadfast and composed, an example of strength and emotional maturity. You will be the lighthouse in the storm, the steady presence she needs, helping her navigate her own emotions without feeling overwhelmed by them. Keep your composure. Stay grounded in the present, and watch as the emotional barriers she has built will begin to crumble when the time is right. Always remember, what we do now echoes in eternity, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us. Every calm, measured step you take will leave an imprint on her heart, and eventually, her love will not be something hidden behind walls, but a connection deepened and nurtured. In life, you don't chase after fleeting emotions. You build relationships with patience, wisdom, and resilience. That is how true victory is won. 7. She finds reasons to be near you. When a woman is in love with you but too scared to show it, one of the most powerful and often overlooked signs is her constant proximity to you. Now, this isn't just about being physically close, it's a deeper, subtler signal that she's drawn to you in ways that go beyond casual interaction. It could be that she keeps showing up at the same events, lingers just a little longer than necessary, or mysteriously finds herself in the same room as you, time and time again. Don't be fooled by the casualness of her actions. Her presence is rarely by chance. It's not a coincidence when she lingers by the coffee machine longer than expected or happens to be near you at that work event. What seems like small, insignificant moments is actually a manifestation of her desire to be closer, even if she's not quite ready to expose her feelings. And let's be honest here, gentlemen. She might try to downplay it with a laugh or a shrug, brushing it off as mere happenstance, but there's an undeniable intention behind it all. The truth is, proximity makes her feel a certain sense of comfort and closeness to you, even though she might be scared to fully embrace those emotions. This is where the wisdom of modern Stoicism comes into play. Just as the old Stoics understood the strength in controlling their reactions, she too might be navigating her feelings with restraint, not because she doesn't care, but because she wants to avoid exposing herself prematurely. Her behavior is a blessing of Stoicism, subtle yet intentional, as she tries to balance her emotions with caution. Don't be deceived by her silence or hesitance. The act of being near you, even if she hides it under a veil of casualness, is her way of expressing something deeper. And you, as a modern Stoic, must recognize this quiet sign for what it is. Not dismiss it, but understand the careful dance she's doing between desire and fear. If you see the subtle signs, don't ignore them. Proximity is her quiet declaration of affection. Like, comment below, and share this with someone who might need this wisdom. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights. Comment to remember her closeness is never a coincidence. It's her way of telling you she cares. 8. She gets protective or supportive in subtle ways. Love, especially when it's wrapped in hesitation, often emerges through the smallest gestures, the kinds that might easily slip under your radar if you're not paying attention. When a woman is in love with you but isn't quite ready to voice it, you might find her demonstrating her care and affection in ways that are gentle, quiet, and often hidden beneath the surface. It's not always about big, sweeping declarations or dramatic actions. Instead, it's in the subtle, everyday moments where her love becomes most apparent. Don't expect fireworks. Expect small, consistent acts that convey deep emotion. What you need to understand is this love doesn't always need to be shouted from the rooftops. Sometimes, the strongest feelings are the quietest ones, expressed through acts of quiet protection and support. A woman who loves you but is hesitant to express it will show up for you in the ways that matter most. She may never say the words "I love you," but her actions will scream it loud and clear if you're paying attention. These are not just acts of kindness. They are the silent manifestations of care and concern. Picture this: you're in a conversation, perhaps a group setting, and someone criticizes you unfairly. She doesn't jump up and make a scene, but her body language shifts. Maybe she'll subtly defend your point of view, offering a quiet, measured response. This may seem like a small thing, but it's a massive sign. Don't miss it. She's protecting you without making a show of it. In a world full of grand gestures, this is what true support looks like: quiet, steady, and unwavering. That is the beauty of love in its most authentic form. It's not about standing on top of a mountain, shouting to the world about your feelings. Instead, love speaks softly, especially when it's unsure of itself. It's in those moments when she shows up for you, day after day, in ways that don't seek attention but instead show deep care for your well-being. If you're unsure whether she's in love with you, it's the subtle ways she makes life easier for you that will provide the answer. Pay close attention to those little things, like when she brings you your favorite snack after a tough day, or when she asks about your plans without being asked. Maybe she notices when you've been stressed, and she offers to take something off your plate, like running an errand for you or helping with a task you've been putting off. These acts aren't just thoughtful. They are a sign of deeper affection, a silent promise that says, "I see you. I care about you." Don't mistake this for mere politeness or friendship. It's not just about being nice. The key difference here is that these gestures are driven by something more profound. There is a layer of tenderness that goes beyond casual kindness. It's her way of telling you, without saying a word, that she's thinking about you and wants to make your life easier. These are the acts that will make her love clear. Even if she hasn't voiced it yet, she's showing you that she loves you through her actions, not her words. Let's take a deeper look into these small acts. When a woman loves you, she might become protective in subtle ways. If she sees someone being unfair to you, She may not necessarily raise her voice or make a scene, but there will be a shift in how she reacts. She might gently challenge someone's negative remarks about you or step in to diffuse tension. It may seem like a small thing, but in reality, it's an act of loyalty and affection. The Stoic lessons remind us that true strength lies in quiet support, not in seeking attention for every good deed. That's the true nature of a Stoic life. Showing up, even when no one's looking. Love that's expressed this way speaks volumes. It's about what's not said, not what's said. She might not tell you she loves you outright, but the way she protects your dignity in a conversation, the way she notices when you're stressed or down, and the way she offers help in a quiet, unobtrusive manner. All of these are signs of deep care and affection. You must understand this love doesn't always need to be loud to be real. It's sometimes the smallest gestures, the ones that don't seek attention or applause, that reflect the deepest feelings. Now, for instance, imagine a scenario where you're stressed about a big presentation or a work deadline. She doesn't just say, "Good luck," and leave it at that. Instead, she might offer to help you prepare, whether it's by organizing your notes, offering feedback, or simply asking if there's anything she can do to make your life easier. These are not actions of convenience. They are actions driven by love. It's her way of showing you that she's in your corner, even if she's not ready to say the words. This is love in its most vulnerable form, expressed through quiet, thoughtful actions. You must also understand that this form of love is deeply tied to Stoicism. Stoic principles teach us that true strength is rooted in self-control and calmness, not in flashy displays of emotion. She might not be ready to say, "I love you," but her Stoic nature allows her to show it through her actions instead of her words. A woman who embodies Stoic lessons doesn't seek validation for every act of kindness. She does it because it's what feels right, because it's a natural expression of her care for you. Now, let's talk about consistency, the key element that makes these small acts so powerful. You must pay attention to the way she shows up, not just once, but regularly. She doesn't disappear after one or two thoughtful gestures. Love that's truly invested in you is shown through consistency, the quiet assurance that says, "I'm here for you," day in and day out. The Stoic life isn't about fleeting moments. It's about the ongoing commitment to being present, to making someone's life easier, to standing by them, even when the world doesn't notice. This is where Stoicism and love intertwine. Love, at its core, doesn't demand attention or recognition. It simply is. A woman who loves you may not say it outright, but her every action is a reflection of that love. And as someone who understands the principles of Stoicism, you'll see these actions for what they are, expressions of deep affection and care that don't need to be announced to the world. Don't make the mistake of overlooking these gestures. Love doesn't always have to be loud or dramatic to be real. Sometimes, the quietest forms of affection are the ones that last the longest and mean the most. If you want to understand her love, look for the subtle signs, the little things she does that show she's thinking about you, even when she's not saying a word. Recognize these gestures for what they are, her way of saying, "I love you," without opening her heart completely yet. In the end, Stoic lessons remind us that love, in its purest form, doesn't seek glory, it seeks meaning. And the most meaningful love is often the one that is quietly, consistently shown through actions rather than words. So don't wait for the declaration. Pay attention to the subtle support, the small moments of care, and the ongoing presence she offers. These are the signs of love that speak the loudest, even if they're whispered through the silence. Hey there, thanks so much for watching. If you've noticed any of these signs, it's a good indication that she might be feeling more than she's showing, even if she's a bit hesitant to express it. Remember, love can be tricky, but paying attention to these little clues can make a huge difference. So take it slow, stay patient, and don't be afraid to show your own feelings too. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more insights, and I'll see you in the next one. Eight signs she likes you but you're not noticing. Modern Stoic. Welcome to our channel. It's Blessing of Stoic, where you discover valuable insights drawn from Stoic philosophers to help you lead a happier and more fulfilling life. When it comes to matters of the heart, women often have a way of concealing their emotions. However, their feelings aren't as invisible as they may seem. If you're not paying attention, you might miss the subtle signs that show she likes you. These signals may not be loud or obvious, but they exist in the little things she says or does when you're around. In today's video, we'll explore the subtle cues that women often give off when they have feelings for someone, cues that you might be overlooking. By the end, you'll be able to spot the signs you've been missing all along. Love is not about how much you say, "I love you," but how much you prove that it's true. Unknown. Sign number 1. She finds ways to touch you in group settings. Now don't be blind to it. A woman's touch isn't always accidental, especially when it happens more than once. You're standing there, modern stoic that you are, stoic on the outside, swirling questions on the inside, telling a story that's halfway funny and halfway brave. And suddenly, she leans in and taps your arm while laughing. Not everyone gets that tap. Not every joke gets that touch. Don't dismiss it as nothing. A woman who likes you will quietly carve out her own space in your world, even when you're both surrounded by others. That light brush on your shoulder, that casual graze as she walks by. That's not clumsy navigation through the crowd. That's her sending a signal, subtle but deliberate. That's her slipping past the group dynamic to speak to you in a language of touch. She won't announce it, and she's not going to scream across the room, "Hey, I like this guy." That's not how the dance works. Instead, her hand does the quiet work, her words won't. She creates a current between you. Something just strong enough to be felt, but soft enough to go unnoticed by everyone else. You must understand when a woman makes a point to initiate physical contact, especially in environments where it's optional. That's intentional. That is the whisper of interest. That is her risking just a little vulnerability in hopes you'll feel the pull. Don't be the old stoic who misses the message because he's too wrapped up in being unfazed. You are not a stone. You are not here to be oblivious. Be alert. Be sharp. Feel what's being offered, even if it comes wrapped in laughter and lightness. And this is where the blessing of Stoicism must evolve. It's not just about shielding yourself from emotion or pretending you don't care. It's about mastering the discipline to notice what matters, to observe the unspoken. A true modern Stoic sees beyond the surface. He reads the room. He hears the silence and feels the brush of a hand for what it is, a deliberate breaking of the space between you. That's the blessing of Stoicism when done right, the strength to stay composed, but the wisdom to recognize when someone is quietly reaching out to connect. If she's finding excuses to touch you when there's no real reason for it, when she's always just accidentally near you, it's time to stop chalking it up to chance. Don't ignore what's right in front of you. You must look deeper. Because a woman's touch in a group setting isn't just contact. It's context. It's a quiet rebellion against anonymity. She's telling you, among all these people, I still want you to feel something. So don't brush it off like it's nothing. Don't be numb. Don't be that guy who only realizes the signs long after she stopped giving them. Be the modern Stoic who sees clearly, feels wisely, and acts when it counts. Because sometimes that small touch is the start of something meaningful, and if you blink, you might just miss it. Sign number 2. She low-key tests your availability. Sometimes the smoothest moves are the sneakiest ones, and if you blink, you'll miss them. That's the thing about interest wrapped in subtlety. It doesn't come kicking down your door. It slips in through side comments, clever timing, and seemingly innocent questions. A woman who likes you but doesn't want to wear it on her sleeve will find ways to poke around the edges of your life, just to see if she might have a place in it. So, are you seeing anyone, she'll ask, pretending it's just a footnote in the conversation? Don't fall for the casual tone. That's not small talk. That's recon. That's her testing the water without diving in head first. That's strategy, not spontaneity. Stoicism teaches us to read between the lines of emotion and not be fooled by surface calm. In Stoic life, you learn to see things for what they are, not just what they appear to be. So don't shrug off that question like it's nothing. It's not nothing. It's her way of gauging your landscape. Are you emotionally available? Are you dating someone else? Do you even notice her? These aren't just idle curiosities. These are calculated moves masked in mild conversation. Pay attention, and it doesn't stop with a question. Watch how she brings up her plans. Subtle little breadcrumbs she drops like a trail toward possibility. She mentions she's free this weekend. Says she doesn't have anything going on Friday night. That's not just commentary on her calendar. It's an open window, a quiet invitation, a test. Will you climb through it or walk right past it? She's not going to hand you a neon sign that says, "Please ask me out." That's not how this game is played. She wants you to want to ask. She wants to see if you catch the drift without needing a map. And if you don't, she'll take note. A Stoic man notices these openings and honors them with action, or at the very least, awareness. Be clear, this isn't about manipulation. This is about vulnerability wrapped in tact, about someone who doesn't want to chase, but is open to being caught. There's wisdom in her subtlety. There's confidence in her restraint. But if you're living like the old Stoic, so inward, so detached, so oblivious to the emotional nuances of others, you'll miss the beauty in the message. You'll miss her. You must not be asleep at the wheel. Stoic lessons aren't just about bracing for hardship or enduring solitude. They're also about perception, keen, alert, unshakable perception. You train yourself to read the signs, to see the undercurrent beneath the calm sea. A woman who's testing your availability is not playing games. She's just protecting her pride. She wants to engage, but she doesn't want to be obvious. So she hints, she tests, she gives you just enough thread to pull. If you're wise enough to pull it, don't brush it off. Don't be dismissive. That small question about your weekend could be the door to something real, but you have to walk through it. The Stoic life isn't about staying motionless, it's about moving with intention. Recognize the offer, respond with clarity. That is the lesson, that is the call. Stoicism isn't silence, it's mastery. And sometimes, mastering life means knowing when a woman is quietly, courageously inviting you in. Comment this right now if you get it. I see the signs. I made the move. Like this video. Subscribe for more sharp insight and Stoic clarity. And remember, inaction is a choice. Don't let hesitation write your story. Number sign 3. She asks for help with things she could easily do herself. Let's cut through the noise. She doesn't need you to help her carry that bag. She's perfectly capable. But when she turns to you, looks you in the eye, and says, "Can you help me with this?" You better believe that's not about the bag. It's about you. It's a calculated gesture, subtle and intentional. That's not a weakness, that's an invitation, that's a signal. A modern Stoic must see through the noise, must hear what isn't being said. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change." The Stoic man, the strong man, adjusts his lens. Don't dismiss her quiet signals as trivial. Don't fall asleep to the nuance of attraction. These small tasks, carry this, look at that, are not about chores. They are bridges. Tiny doorways she's opening for you. Walk through them. Be aware. Show up. A woman doesn't ask for help she doesn't need unless she wants something more than help. That is Stoic awareness, reading the room, mastering your emotions and recognizing opportunity without chasing it. You must see the power of subtlety. Stoic principles aren't just dusty philosophies, they're a battle plan for modern men navigating emotional warfare. Today's world is loud, fast, and distracted, but her interest, her attention, it whispers. Stoic men don't miss whispers. They're alert. She wants to be near you. She wants to make space for you in her world without announcing it like a billboard. And when she chooses vulnerability, even in disguise, you must respond not with arrogance, but with presence. She's not weak. She's not incapable. She's letting you into her world. That's trust. That's vulnerability, and that's strength. Don't miss it. Let's be clear, if you ignore these signs, you're not being cool, you're being blind, and you're not being stoic, you're being asleep. The Stoic man isn't numb, he's awake. He sees what others miss. He acts with intent. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Be that man. Be observant. Be bold. Stop waiting for neon signs and start recognizing the quiet brilliance of her moves. She wants to feel your strength, not in domination, but in your understanding, your attentiveness, your awareness. That is masculine grace. That is emotional mastery. That is power. These small moments, they're tests, opportunities, hidden gifts. Treat them as sacred. Say yes. Be present. Create impact. Because when you do, you don't just earn her admiration, you command respect from life itself. These are the battlefield moments where Stoic principles separate men from boys. She may never say, "I like you," but she doesn't have to. A Stoic man hears what's unspoken. A Stoic man leads with calm certainty. A Stoic man wins by doing the small things with massive presence. Don't miss the signs. Don't fail the test. Be decisive. Be sharp. Be a master of the moment. This is the new war, fought in subtle cues and soft smiles. Victory belongs to the man who sees, acts, and owns his space with quiet fire. Rise. Recognize. Respond. Number sign 4. Her voice shifts, but not by accident. Don't ignore the small stuff. That soft, subtle shift in her voice when she talks to you. That's not background noise. That's the sound of interest, ringing loud if only you'd listen. It's not in your head. It's in her tone. Higher, lighter, slower, or suddenly filled with a melodic warmth you don't hear when she's speaking to others. That's biology and behavior teaming up to send you a signal. A woman who likes you often doesn't declare it with fireworks. She whispers it in half tones and heartbeats. Her voice becomes softer, sweeter, slightly airy. like she's gently tuning herself to your frequency without even realizing it. She might slow down, choosing her words like a chess master, careful, thoughtful, and strategic. That's not hesitation. That's the intention. It's not about saying the right thing to win you. It's about not ruining the moment she treasures. This is the arena where the modern Stoic must stay alert. Don't be the old Stoic who misses life's quiet music because he's too wrapped in logic or distracted by noise. Be present. Be perceptive. Listen as a modern Stoic would, with awareness, restraint, and calm observation. There's a blessing of Stoicism in learning how to hear not just what is said, but how it's said. This isn't fluff or fantasy, Amut. It's human nature at play. Subtle cues dressed in velvet and vulnerability. A woman will often say more with her voice than with her words. If she speaks to you with a tone that feels like a breeze on a hot day or like music where there should only be words, that's your cue. That's attraction whispering through inflection. Don't brush it off. Don't chalk it up to coincidence. This is where your Stoic senses must switch on. You don't need to react with desperation or ego. That's not the modern Stoic way. But you do need to notice. Because missing these signs, that's how you fumble a moment that might have been meaningful. A voice that shifts for you is not a sound, it's a signal. You must respect that. You must respond not with gushing excitement, but with grounded presence. That is your strength. That is how the modern Stoic handles interest with calm curiosity and deep listening. So next time she speaks, ask yourself, not just what did she say, but how did she say it? Did her words float? Did they pause mid-air like they were waiting for permission to land? If so, it's not just a conversation. It's a moment, and it's meant for you. Don't miss the music because you're only listening to the lyrics. If you're picking up on subtle shifts in her tone, don't ignore them. They might be telling you more than words ever could. These changes in her voice are often unconscious signs of genuine interest. If you found this insight helpful, like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more modern Stoic wisdom. Comment to remember her voice says what her words don't. Number sign 5, she accidentally shares your interests. But make no mistake, nothing is accidental when it comes to attraction. If a woman starts echoing your favorite bands, quoting lines from that obscure show you mentioned once, or suddenly takes an interest in your weekend hobby, understand this. She's not just discovering these things by chance. She's learning your language. She's choosing to align her world with yours. Marcus Aurelius said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." You must train your mind to see the signs in real time. The modern man, the modern Stoic, doesn't wait to be hit over the head with affection. He notices the silent signals. He reads between the lines. A Stoic doesn't seek validation, but he also doesn't walk through life blind to truth. Her sudden interest in your passions, that's her reaching out. That's her moving closer. That's her saying, "Let me into your world," without ever needing to raise her voice. Recognize the quiet power of attention. Recognize her effort. This isn't just flattery, this is intention. Don't ignore what's obvious just because it's quiet. Don't let your ego blind you to her cues. A Stoic sees things as they are, not as he wishes them to be or fears them to be. If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, Marcus Aurelius wrote. This is your moment to do just that. Change how you interpret her actions. Wake up. She's not just talking about that band to fill silence. She wants connection. She wants alignment. This is a key sign she likes you. In fact, it's one of the clearest. She's stepping into your world. She's choosing curiosity over comfort. She's bridging the distance between you and her. Most men miss this. Most men brush it off. They think that's a coincidence. It's not. It's a strategy. It's sincerity. And it deserves your awareness. Let's be clear. Stoic principles are not about detachment. They are about mastery. Master your perceptions. Master your emotions. Master your awareness. This sign, her mirroring your interests, is a message, loud and clear. Don't pretend you didn't hear it. Don't brush it off as randomness. That's how weak men operate. You're not that man. You're building a life with intention. You're walking through your days with eyes wide open. That means picking up on every meaningful gesture, every soft signal, every thread of shared connection. That's strength. That's power. That's what it means to live with Stoic discipline. So next time she starts gushing about a band you love, don't zone out. Lean in. Ask yourself, is she doing this to get closer to me? The answer is probably yes. And the Stoic response: appreciation without desperation, recognition without fantasy. Be grounded, be sharp, be decisive. Don't waste this moment by being passive. Don't let the signs pass you by while you're lost in overthinking. Don't say, I wish I had seen it sooner. This is your sign. This is your reminder. Be the man who sees. Be the man who leads. Be the man who masters life. Not just by force, but by awareness. Let Stoic principles guide you. Let Marcus Aurelius's wisdom anchor you. Live with your eyes open, move with purpose, and never ever miss the signals again. Number sign 6. She gets nervous and fumbles small tasks. Now don't be fooled. This isn't clumsiness. This is chemistry in real time. You see, confidence isn't a constant. Even the most composed woman can find herself suddenly dropping her pen, stumbling over her words, or forgetting what she was saying. All because you walked into the room. That's not a glitch. That's an attraction. That's her trying, desperately, to keep cool while her emotions throw a party inside her chest. And yes, it shows. In spilled coffee, in nervous giggles, in broken sentences, and some. Her hands may be fumbling, but her heart is locked in. There's a beautiful irony here. She's nervous because she cares. Because you matter. Say that latte that slipped onto the table, that wasn't clumsiness. It was her mind short-circuiting because you were close enough to touch. That is a signal, loud and clear. Stoicism teaches us to observe, not overreact. So don't mock, don't tease too hard. Be aware, be present. This is where emotional intelligence meets Stoic strength. Your job isn't to call it out. Your job is to notice it, appreciate it, and handle it with quiet confidence. Let's break this down with a bit of Stoic wisdom. The Stoics, especially those like Marcus Aurelius, lived by one rule. Observe reality as it is, not as you assume it to be. That woman fumbling with her phone isn't just clumsy today, that's your sign. That's your moment of clarity, almost. This is where Stoic lessons come to life. You must not dismiss what's right in front of you. The Stoic life demands awareness, stillness, decisiveness. Be the man who sees. Be the man who doesn't jump to conclusions but also doesn't miss the truth staring him in the face. Let's say she's usually sharp, always on point. But when you're around, she's suddenly forgetting where she put her keys. That is not a coincidence. That's attraction, breaking through the seams of self-control. It's the same way a warrior might shake, not from fear but from the gravity of the moment. She's trying to impress you, and in doing so, she slips. Don't laugh at her struggle. Respect the effort. She's battling her own nerves because you matter that much. This is your reminder in the Stoic life. We don't wait for lightning bolts. We read the signs, carefully, quietly, with full attention. As Epictetus said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. That means you must be still enough to notice the shake in her hand, the pause before she speaks, the laugh that doesn't quite land. Those are not failures, those are fireworks, but only if you're looking. So here's what you do. Don't brush it off. Don't overlook it. Don't act like a fool who thinks she's just clumsy today. Be sharp. Be grounded. See it for what it is. That nervous energy is her heart speaking in code, a code only the attentive can decipher. Let Stoicism guide your perception. Let Stoic lessons sharpen your awareness. And above all, be the kind of man who notices, because in today's distracted world, that is a rare power. She's not dropping that pen for no reason. And you're not just a casual observer, and you're the catalyst. Recognize the effect you have, then act like a man who understands it. That's not just stoic, it's masterful. Number sign 7, she fixes the little things. But you, blind in your stoic haze, might not even notice. You're standing there, maybe lost in your thoughts like a good modern stoic, contemplating life's impermanence or trying to tame the fire within. And she's right next to you, gently smoothing the wrinkle in your shirt, tucking in a stray tag, or wiping that invisible smudge from your face. She's not doing it for attention. She's doing it because you are her attention. This isn't just casual politeness. This is precise, intentional affection. You see, when a woman notices the minutiae, the half-tucked collar, the faint coffee stain, that rebellious eyebrow hair, it's not because she's obsessive. It's because she's invested. That is, deeply and silently invested. This isn't vanity. It's intimacy and camouflage. She wants you to look like the man she knows you are. The man you often forget to be when you're too busy channeling the old stoic, thinking feelings are foolish and subtlety is suspicious. Don't mistake her tiny interventions for nagging. Be sharp. Be awake. These gestures are coded messages written in the secret language of care. She's telling you, I see you, even the parts you don't, that thread she pulls off your sleeve. It's not a thread, it's affection. It's her way of patching you together when you don't realize you're fraying. And here's the blessing of Stoicism. You can be composed without being clueless. You can master your emotions and still recognize when someone is whispering their affection through a gentle tug on your jacket. You must remember that the truly modern Stoic doesn't ignore emotion. He understands it without letting it drown him. That includes recognizing love when it comes dressed not in poetry, but in practical grace. So if she's constantly adjusting your tie or brushing lint from your coat, don't flinch away. Don't joke it off. Don't act like you're too cool to be touched. Because while you're there practicing emotional restraint like an old stoic guarding a fortress, she's quietly slipping past your defenses and redecorating the walls with tenderness. She's not trying to fix you. She's already chosen you. She's just helping you reflect the man she believes you can be, one thread at a time. These small, almost invisible gestures. They're not minor. They're monumental, but only to the man wise enough to see them. Be that man. Don't let your stoic silence become blindness. There's a difference between strength and numbness, between stillness and ignorance. The blessing of Stoicism is in being fully present, not coldly distant. So next time she leans in to straighten your collar, don't just stand there like a statue. See it, feel it, honor it. Because that's love, modern Stoic style. And you'd be a fool to miss it. If you found this insightful, like the video. Share it with someone who might need this. And don't forget to subscribe for more modern Stoic wisdom. She's not just being polite. She's paying attention to the little things because you matter. Comment to remember I am worthy of thoughtful attention. Drop that in the comments to lock it in and join the conversation. Number sign 8. She defends you or backs you up. This is not just a fleeting moment. It's not just politeness. It's a deeper signal, a message wrapped in subtlety. When a woman stands up for you, when she supports your opinion in a crowd, redirects a joke made at your expense, or even gives you a reassuring glance when others challenge you, she's making a silent declaration. You matter. But here's the truth most men miss because they're too distracted, too doubtful, or too blind to see it. The modern Stoic doesn't get fooled by surface behavior. He looks beneath, he observes, he measures, he reads between the lines. That's where the truth hides. You must notice the quiet loyalty. You must train yourself to catch these signs before they pass you by. This is not about overanalyzing or hoping. This is about seeing what is there. She might laugh at a teasing comment, but if she follows it by saying, "Don't be mean," or "He's actually got a point," then she's not just laughing, she's defending. That's her shield, placed quietly between you and the world. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When she defends you, she's showing you the color of hers. She sees value in you. She's not doing this for attention. She's not doing this for show. She's doing it because something in her sees strength in you, and she wants to align herself with that strength. In modern life, where authenticity is rare and everything feels transactional, a woman's small act of defense is a loud gesture in disguise. She may say, "I thought the movie was pretty good too," even if she barely remembers it, because you liked it, because she wants you to feel heard, because she doesn't want you to stand alone. That's not fluff. That's loyalty. That's someone watching your back without asking for anything in return. The Stoic man must not miss this. He must not write it off. These are not just words. They are emotional investments, unspoken signals, signs of loyalty, and you must treat them like gold. In a society that tells men to always lead, always fight, always prove themselves, there is a different kind of power. A woman who chooses to stand beside you in moments that seem small but reveal much. She's not fighting your battles. She's signaling her readiness to stand with you as you fight them. And that, my friend, is a rare kind of strength. The modern Stoic understands this. He doesn't just look for flashy affection or loud declarations. He seeks alignment, subtlety, truth. You must be vigilant. You must be present. You must live by Stoic principles. Observe without illusion. Act without hesitation. Appreciate without dependence. Think of the way the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius lived. He wrote, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth." Apply this wisdom to your relationships. If you've been blind to these signals, change, shift, sharpen your perception. Because when a woman quietly defends your dignity, your ideas, or your presence, it's not just affection. It's my intention. It's an alliance. She is showing you a part of herself that aligns with the core of who you are. You can't fake that. You can't force that. You can only honor it when it shows up. Let's be clear, not every woman will do this. Many won't, and that's fine. But the one who does, the one who subtly takes your side, even in a conversation that doesn't matter to anyone else, that's someone who sees you. That's someone who values you beyond what's said. You must notice it. You must remember it. You must match that energy with the same strength and clarity on the audits, because loyalty is not loud. It's consistent, it's firm, it's steady. Just like the Stoic, just like you must be. Don't ignore it. Don't laugh it off. That is her showing you care in the most unguarded way possible. And in a world full of noise, distraction, and performance, that simple defense is a treasure. See it, embrace it, and never forget. True power lies in seeing the world clearly, responding with intention, and honoring those who honor you. This is how you master your relationships. This is how you master life. This is the way of the modern Stoic. All right, fellas, that's it for today. Thanks for sticking around, and it means a lot. Look, the signs are usually there. You're just not seeing them because you're either distracted, doubting yourself, or brushing them off as coincidence. But a modern Stoic doesn't ignore reality. He observes, he listens, he pays attention to the details without overreacting. That glance, that subtle touch, the way she laughs just a bit more when you're around. None of it is random. Women are often more subtle than we expect, but that doesn't mean they're not being clear. So here's the real talk. Don't be the guy who wakes up years later thinking, damn, she actually liked me. Be aware now. Start paying attention. You don't need to become paranoid or read into everything, but you do need to be present and grounded enough to catch what's right in front of you. And if you don't see the signs, that's fine too. Don't force it. Stay focused on your own path. Keep building yourself, and the right ones will show up, often when you least expect it. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button. We've got more coming for the modern mind. Clear, sharp, no fluff. Stay aware, stay steady, and as always, stay true to who you are. See you in the next one. She'll come back begging to be with you. Just do this, modern Stoic. Never beg for a relationship. Be brave to accept the one who really wants to be with you. Unknown. Don't plead. Don't pursue it. Don't justify. She believed she had you mapped out, that you'd wait around, get lost in your thoughts, maybe even try to win her back. But the moment you stop feeding that expectation, everything changes. When you step back with calm control, not emotional chaos, the balance resets. And in that stillness, your absence speaks volumes. Here's what most men miss. Neediness is a repellent, but self-respect that draws people in like gravity. The more you try to prove yourself to someone who's already pulled away, the less value they place on your presence. That's why silence, space, and stoic composure are your greatest strengths, not as tools of revenge, but as a reflection of a man who knows his worth. She'll feel it, she'll wonder, she'll remember, and if she returns, it won't be because you chased, it'll be because you stood. 1. Disappear with dignity. Don't beg, don't chase, don't even explain, just vanish, like a whisper in the wind, but with the quiet power of a man who knows exactly what he's worth. When a modern Stoic walks away, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't raise his voice or rattle the cage. He simply chooses himself, and that silent act speaks louder than 1,000 screaming exits ever could. The blessing of Stoicism isn't about being cold, it's about being composed. You're not retreating out of defeat. You're protecting something sacred, your peace, your presence, your power. That's what she'll feel when you're gone. Not relief, but the heavy silence of a man who refused to lower himself to drama. Let's be honest, she probably thought you'd always be there. She stopped appreciating the little things, took your loyalty for granted. Maybe she even disrespected you, chipped away at your value like it was nothing. And in that moment, the old Stoic inside you may stir, wanting to shout, demand an apology, make her see what she lost, but don't. That's weakness disguised as strength. Real power isn't loud. It doesn't need an audience. If someone can't see your value without you having to explain it, then they were never worthy of it in the first place. Don't let your ego bait you into a circus of explanations. Be better. Be the man who simply walks, not away from her, but back to himself. A modern Stoic knows the truth. Closure is a myth for the weak. You don't need her validation. You don't need her to understand your side of the story. You don't need anything but your dignity intact. That's the blessing of Stoicism. It teaches you to let go with grace, not grief. You disappear not to punish, but to preserve. You cut ties not to hurt, but to heal. No cryptic texts, no emotional grand finale. Just a man choosing peace over pride, silence over noise, substance over spectacle. And that's exactly what leaves her breathless in the aftermath. She'll expect anger. She'll prepare for a scene. But when all she gets is silence, that's when your absence will start to echo. That's when regret sets in. So don't slam the door. Don't post vague quotes or throw shade online. Don't play that game. Be still. Be composed. Be the kind of man who disappears so gracefully. She can't stop wondering why. Let your silence haunt her. Let your restraint become the loudest message she's ever heard. Because when you walk away like a modern Stoic, with your soul unshaken and your head high, you don't just leave the room, you leave an impression. And that impression, it lingers. It humbles. It haunts me. You must understand this. The man who chooses peace over proving his point is the man who always wins in the end. The old Stoic within you isn't dead. He's awake, waiting for you to act with purpose, not passion. Disappearing with dignity isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the quiet revolution of the man who no longer needs to be heard, because he finally learned to listen to himself. 2. Upgrade in silence. When a man chooses to rise, truly rise, he must do it in silence. Not because he's hiding, but because real transformation doesn't beg for applause. It demands respect when the work is done. There's no need to announce that you're changing. No need to post about your new habits. No dramatic updates to your circle. You simply begin. Quiet mornings replace chaos. Your mind sharpens. Your energy cleans up. You move with purpose, not noise. That is Stoicism in action. It's not about convincing others you've changed. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to explain himself. Epictetus said it best: don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. That's the essence of the Stoic life: actions over words, discipline over drama, solitude over spectacle. In a world addicted to attention, your silence becomes a rare power. You don't perform. You don't chase validation. You build day by day, unseen and unstoppable. You must understand this. When you commit to growth, real growth, it gets lonely. People won't notice right away, and they might even doubt you. And that's exactly how it should be. Because when you're doing it for recognition, you've already lost your way. But when you're doing it for yourself, for that inner sense of becoming, then your motivation becomes bulletproof. You start to realize you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You start making decisions that serve your long-term peace, not your short-term ego. You read the books no one sees. You train when no one's watching. You cut off distractions quietly. You say no to comfort. You say yes to becoming iron. All of it. Done not to be seen, but because you're done being weak, reactive, and aimless. That's what Stoic lessons teach us. The power isn't in what you tell the world. It's in what you build behind closed doors. And yes, she might notice eventually. Maybe months from now. Maybe too late. She might wonder what happened, who you've become, and whether she still has a place in your life. But by that point, it won't matter. Not because you're heartless, but because you've outgrown the version of yourself who waited for her approval. You'll realize you didn't do this for her. You did it because the man inside you was tired of being soft, tired of wasting time, tired of falling short. And now, you're sharper, calmer, harder to shake. You didn't disappear. You upgraded. That's the quiet strength of the Stoic life, to grow so deeply, so steadily, that even if no one claps, even if she never returns, you win. So be unrecognizable in 6 months. Let your energy shift before you speak a word. Let your presence say what your voice doesn't need to. Don't brag, don't explain, don't slow down. Build in silence, relentlessly. Because when the time comes, and it always does, they'll notice. The silence will break, and your transformation will speak louder than anything you ever said. And that is when the world, and maybe even she, will realize you didn't just change, you became. If this message resonates with you, like the video, drop a comment, and share it with someone who's leveling up quietly. Don't forget to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom and inner growth. Comment to remember, I grow in silence, powerfully and with purpose. Let's see how many of you are truly becoming without needing to be seen. 3. Protect your energy like it's gold. Your energy is not cheap, it's not casual, it's not for everyone. Your energy is currency. More valuable than gold, more powerful than attention, more limited than time. And just like gold, once given freely to the wrong hands, it loses its worth. So stop giving it away to people who don't return it. Stop explaining yourself to those who twist your words. Stop giving your peace to those who only stir your storms. You must withdraw from chaos, and you must retreat from drama. Not because you're weak, but because you've mastered restraint. That is the modern Stoic. That is power under control. Marcus Aurelius, the father of Stoic principles, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Strength is not loud. Strength is not aggressive. Strength is silent, controlled, strategic. When you walk away from nonsense without reacting, you win. When you no longer argue with people who don't even understand themselves, you win. When you protect your space, your mind, your focus, you become unstoppable. Don't let guilt trick you into over-explaining. Don't let loneliness drag you into toxic cycles. Don't let comfort kill your ambition. If it doesn't reciprocate, release it. If it drains you, cut it off. You are not here to be emotionally bankrupt. You are not here to beg for love, for attention, for peace. You are here to build your kingdom, to protect your peace like a lion guards his pride. Be deliberate, be detached, be disciplined. Stoic men do not chase chaos. They remove themselves from it. They do not beg, they build. They do not talk about power. They embody it. That is your edge. That is your silence. That is your dignity. A man who knows when to walk away commands more respect than a man who fights every battle. Your boundaries are sacred. They don't need justification. They need enforcement. Let your peace speak for you. Let your distance deliver the message. Let your absence become your loudest reply. In this modern world full of noise, distraction, and emotional vampires, your greatest weapon is not noise, it's control. Self-mastery is victory on your power is in your silence, your clarity, your purpose. Not everyone deserves your energy. Not everyone earns your presence. Not everyone can handle your peace, and that's exactly why you must protect it, without apology and without warning and without hesitation. So today, be like Marcus Aurelius. Be a modern Stoic. Practice the Stoic principles that have guided great men for centuries, detached from chaos. Anchor to values that command your mind. Guard your energy. Live by this code, and she won't just regret losing you. She'll be drawn to your power, your presence, your peace. She'll come back, not because you begged, but because you became. Let that be your proof. Let that be your legacy. Then protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. 4. Let her feel the emptiness. Don't rush to fill the void she left. Don't scramble to replace the sound of her voice with noise or distraction. That is not strength. That's fear in disguise. Be still. Let the silence linger like morning fog. It's not about being cold. It's about being calm. A man grounded in the blessing of Stoicism doesn't chase. He reflects. The old Stoic knew something most modern men have forgotten. Sometimes the loudest message you can send is no message at all. Don't call. Don't text. Don't accidentally show up where she might be. Be present in your own world, not orbiting hers. That stillness, that unexpected calm, becomes a question mark in her mind. Why isn't he falling apart? Why does he seem? Find that question. That very absence becomes the presence she can't ignore. This isn't about revenge. No, you're not withholding love, you're not playing games when you're showing, without shouting, that your sense of worth never depended on her applause. When she left, she expected the fireworks of your desperation. Instead, you gave her the silence of self-respect. And that, my friend, hits harder than 1,000 words ever could. You see, the modern Stoic doesn't panic in the storm. He becomes the lighthouse. Your stillness becomes her reflection. Let her sit with that. Let her wonder. The man who no longer tries to pull her back becomes the man she begins to question losing. And here's the kicker, you're not doing this for her to come back. You're doing it because you have come back to yourself. You've returned to that internal ground no one else can shake. That is the blessing of Stoicism. It doesn't react. It responds with grace and power. You must let the emptiness echo for her. Not out of spite, but out of clarity. Because when you stop clinging, you start commanding. Not through control, but through composure. She will feel the void, and if she has any depth, she will see that the silence doesn't mean you stopped caring. It means you started caring differently. The old Stoic within you has awakened. The man who doesn't crumble. The man who doesn't beg. The man who doesn't chase. He waits. He builds. He becomes more. And that man, the one standing firm in stillness, speaks volumes she cannot ignore. Be the echo, not the plea. Be the peace, not the pursuit. Let her feel what she thought she wanted. That emptiness she created, it becomes a mirror. And in it, she sees what she's lost. Let her feel it, fully, deeply. You're not punishing her. You're showing her what it looks like when a man walks away with dignity and doesn't look back for approval. Don't break the silence. Don't rush the process. Be the modern Stoic. Still, grounded and unshaken, because sometimes silence isn't absent. Its presence redefined. If this message hits home, like the video, share it with a brother who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Now, comment below to lock it in your mind. Stillness is strength. I don't chase. I rise. 5. Stay unavailable but not bitter. Don't chase. Don't plead. Don't explain. That time is over. Now. You must understand something that modern Stoics like Marcus Aurelius mastered centuries ago. Power is in restraint. Strength is in silence. The best revenge, then he said, is to be unlike him who performed the injury. You're not playing games. You're not pretending to be distant. You've evolved. You've raised the price of access, not from ego, but from clarity. That is, clarity born from pain, reflection, and self-respect. You've stopped handing over your energy to people who treated it like it was nothing. You've stopped letting someone rent space in your mind for free. Why? Because now you live by Stoic principles. And one of those principles is this: what you allow is what will continue. So you stop allowing disrespect. You stop tolerating half love, half effort, half truths. Not to hurt her, not to punish anyone, but to protect what you've built, your mind, your peace, your purpose. Let her wonder where that desperate man went. Let her feel the gravity of your absence. Don't explain it. Don't make speeches. Let silence do the work. Make your absence louder than your presence ever was. Because Stoicism isn't about emotionlessness. It's about emotional mastery. You feel everything, but you don't let it control you. You let go without bitterness. You detach with dignity. Because bitterness doesn't hurt her, it corrodes you. It eats away at your peace. So you rise above it. You choose better, not bitter. You stand firm in your solitude. You stand tall in your decision. You stand stoic, a fortress of self-control in a world begging for attention. And this is the key: you stop being available, but never become spiteful. She doesn't get the same access because you're not the same man. That's not punishment. That's evolution. You've become a mountain, not a storm chasing validation, not a wind twisting for attention. A mountain, still strong, unmoved. If she comes back, she must climb. She must rise. She must earn what once was given too freely. You are no longer a man she remembers. You are the man she now must respect. You have rebuilt yourself by Stoic principles, brick by brick, failure by failure, choice by choice. You stopped reacting and started responding. You no longer prove your worth when you embody it. You command it. You radiate it. Let her feel the weight of what she lost. Let her see the man she couldn't destroy because he didn't rely on her to be whole. She left, and you built it. Or she doubted, and you focused. She expected your ruin, but you chose discipline. Victory is not always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet refusal to break, the steady commitment to self-respect, the unwavering grip on purpose. That is power. That is mastery. That is what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." So don't be bitter. Be better. Don't wait. Rise. Don't chase. Lead. Let your growth be your message. Let your progress be your reply. Let your peace be your revenge. That is how the modern Stoic lives. That is how you reclaim your edge. That is how she'll come back, not to the man she knew, but to the man she never saw coming. 6. Level up your environment. Be honest. When you walk into your room, does it feel like the space of a man with direction or a man stuck in rewind? That mess in the corner, those dusty reminders of someday projects, the echoes of her old perfume. It all talks loudly, and what it's saying isn't helping you rise. So here's your first Stoic lesson: your environment is a mirror. And if you don't like what you see, don't blame the mirror. Change what it reflects. You want her to feel the shift when she walks in. Fine. But you have to feel it first. That means your space has to evolve with your standards. Clean out the physical clutter. Yes, toss the old shirts and ditch the couch that's been slouching more than you have. But don't stop there. Clear out the emotional junk too, the resentment, the what-ifs, the imaginary conversations you keep having with her at 2 a.m. Don't be the man who hoards pain in emotional closets. Be the man who opens windows and lets fresh air back into his life. Let's break this down like a real Stoic. Marcus Aurelius didn't conquer his inner demons by lounging in a space that screamed, "I gave up." He understood that a disciplined environment feeds a disciplined mind. That's Stoicism, not some cold, unfeeling doctrine, but a clear, practiced mindset rooted in awareness and ownership. That pile of dishes, it's not just a mess, it's momentum, in reverse. That old circle of friends still stuck in their high school drama. That's your reflection too. Upgrade, not to impress her, not to get attention. Upgrade because you're not staying the same man. Be ruthless with your space. Be deliberate with your circle. Be intentional with your habits. That's not just life advice. That's Stoic life. You don't have to throw out your entire past. Just the parts of it that keep you from your future. Keep what build. Burn what breaks. Burn what. Replace cheap distractions with quiet power. A better desk. More books. Less noise. Swap meaningless scrolling for mindful growth. Trade gossip for meaningful conversations. Choose depth over drama. Because here's the truth: when your surroundings rise, you rise. When your habits sharpen, your edge return. When your room breathes, so does your mind. That's how you begin living above your circumstances instead of under them. And when, or if, she returns, she won't find the man who waited. She'll find the man who leveled up. The man who built a new atmosphere so full of purpose, peace, and presence that her old tactics won't even land anymore. That's not revenge. That's a revolution. Don't underestimate the power of small changes. A cleaned desk becomes a clearer head. A switched-off phone becomes a stronger will. A stronger will becomes unstoppable momentum. This is how Stoicism works, through deliberate action, one controlled choice at a time. Your space becomes your sanctuary. Your circle becomes your army. Your habits become your legacy. So level up. Be the man whose environment speaks before he does. Be the man whose space doesn't whisper desperation but roars with dignity. Be the man who lives the Stoic life not to impress others but to honor himself. Let the world adjust to the man you're becoming, not the man she left behind. And if you feel this shift happening, drop a comment right now. My environment reflects my evolution. Like this video, subscribe for more unshakable wisdom, and remember, you don't change for her, you change for you. 7. Let go of needing closure. Don't beg for explanations. Don't sit in the shadows waiting for her to turn around and hand you a script explaining why she vanished. She left. That is your answer. A modern Stoic doesn't need neatly packaged endings wrapped in tearful apologies. He understands that life isn't a romantic drama where every chapter concludes with a satisfying moral. Be wiser. Be bolder. The truth is, closure is a myth sold to men who haven't yet learned how to stand alone. It's not her job to mend what she broke. It's yours to decide you're already whole. The blessing of Stoicism teaches us that control begins and ends within our own minds, not in hers, not in her words, and certainly not in her exit. Let go, not to forget, but to finally stop bleeding over a wound she never intended to heal. Seneca, the old Stoic master of fire-tested wisdom, warned us long ago, "He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than necessary." And oh, how we suffer, endlessly replaying the past like a broken record, hunting for clues, asking why, when, what did I miss? But that's not strength. That's self-torture dressed as romantic persistence. Don't fall for it. Burn that script. Write a new one. You don't need her reasons to rebuild your life. You need to resolve. You don't need her return to feel chosen again. You need to choose yourself, with the quiet force of a man who understands that becoming your own closure is the ultimate act of power. You must embrace what the modern Stoic knows deep in his bones when you no longer chase what hurt you. You free your hands to build what heals you. That's not just moving on. That's rising. Stop searching for endings from people who had no intention of staying for the whole story. Stand tall in the middle of the wreckage, not as the victim of her silence, but as the old Stoic reborn, forged by pain, unshaken by the storm, and ready for the next chapter with eyes wide open and heart firmly guarded. Letting go isn't a weakness. It's the steel-backed decision to stop asking for scraps and start owning your worth. Remember this: a man who needs nothing from the past owns everything about his future. That's the blessing of Stoicism. Be that man. Be the closure. Be calm in the chaos. She may come back. They often do, but by then you won't be waiting. You'll be walking, head high, a man of discipline, direction, and dignity. That is power. That is peace. That is the modern Stoic. 8. Build an aura of calm power. Don't flinch. Don't explain. And for the love of all that is masculine and sacred, don't react. When she pokes, when she prods, when she sends those subtle jabs to check if you're still on the hook, be the man who doesn't budge. That is not a weakness. That is dominance through discipline. That is the essence of the Stoic life. She may try to trigger emotion, to see if you're still wounded, still waiting. And when she does, remain still, not cold, not bitter, but composed, solid. Because your power isn't in shouting louder or posting cryptic quotes online. Your power is in silence that commands attention. Your strength is in being unshaken when most men would break. That's what separates you, the modern Stoic, from the rest of the noise. Marcus Aurelius, a man who led armies and empires while waging wars inside his own mind, once said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Read that again. Your peace isn't determined by her actions. It's shaped by your interpretation of those actions. She left. That's not devastation. That's an opportunity. She ghosted you. That's not rejection, that's redirection. Don't let her emotional weather dictate your climate. Your Stoic lessons have taught you to detach from the chaos and connect to the calm within. That is your true source of strength. You must understand this. Real masculine power is not about being loud or controlling others. It's about mastering yourself so completely that nothing external can shake your internal state. That kind of man, he doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He doesn't even need to speak. His presence does the work. His aura of calm tells the world, I know who I am. I don't need validation. I do not entertain drama. And that's exactly what draws people. Yes, even her, back into your orbit. Because calm is magnetic. Controlled energy is irresistible. The man who exudes peace in chaos stands out in a world addicted to noise. So, don't underestimate the power of silence. Don't mistake non-reaction for passivity. In the Stoic life, calm is a weapon, and self-control is armor. Let her wonder why you're not crumbling. Let her feel your absence, not as a passive withdrawal, but as a quiet declaration that you've moved beyond needing her approval. She'll notice, she'll test, and when she does, don't blink. Just keep walking with that slow, steady stride of a man who's mastered his emotions and reclaimed his dignity. That's the real revenge, not rage, not games, but growth. Remember, quiet strength is the loudest presence in any room. When you embody it, people take notice, women take notice, and if she ever circles back, if she ever returns to see if the man she left is still the same, let her meet someone new, someone stronger, someone stoic. That's how you win. That's the stoicism that reshapes your life, one unshaken moment at a time. If you've made it this far, you're not just watching, you're transforming. You understand now that real strength doesn't shout, it doesn't chase, it commands through calm. When the world or she tries to shake you, your silence becomes your shield, your composure, your power. That's the mark of a man on the path of stoic life. Comment below, I choose calm over chaos. I am becoming the quiet power. Say it. Claim it. Let the world and yourself know who you're becoming. 9. Show her you've outgrown her old version. Show her you've outgrown her old version. Stand as the evolved man you are. Refuse to grovel. Refuse to plead. Instead, embrace the resolute modern stoic within you and let your transformation speak louder than any words ever could. When she sees the man you have become, a man who has taken command of his life, who no longer seeks approval but commands respect with every decisive action, she will understand that the version she once knew is a relic of the past. You must act with unyielding certainty, with the iron resolve of Marcus Aurelius and the enduring wisdom of Stoic principles that have shaped the lives of emperors and common men alike. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius said, a reminder that your internal evolution is far more potent than any external plea or promise. Stand firm, for the man you are now is forged in the fires of discipline and experience, embodying the modern Stoic mindset that turns hardships into triumphs and challenges into stepping stones. Do not cower in silence or drown in self-doubt. Assert your newfound identity with every breath you take. You are more than you were yesterday, a testament to the enduring Stoic legacy that champions self-improvement and fearless authenticity. Your silence now roars with the echoes of change. Every quiet moment is laden with the power of Stoic resolve, a silent announcement that the days of striving to be seen are over, because now you see yourself with clarity and purpose. This is your turning point, your moment of victory over the old habits and outdated versions of your past self. When you hold your head high and tread confidently on a path guided by Stoic principles, you command the narrative of your own life. You must be the embodiment of relentless progress, a living example of what it means to evolve. Drawing upon the timeless wisdom of Epictetus, who declared, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This is not a call for meek submission, but a mandate to become formidable, to let your Stoic spirit shine so brightly that any trace of the man who once begged for acceptance dissolves into insignificance. Each moment that you rise above the trivialities of a past defined by neediness. Each instance where you embrace the grandeur of self-mastery, you carve out a legacy of honor and strength. Understand that this evolution is not merely an aesthetic change, but a fundamental shift in the very fiber of your being, as inevitable as the morning sun rising over a disciplined horizon. Take charge now. Let the truth of your transformation be felt in every decisive stride. Embrace the art of being unapologetically yourself, and let every action, every silent demeanor, every resolute glance be a declaration of your worth. Let your heart beat with the cadence of valor and your mind be a fortress of Stoic insights, echoing the relentless convictions of Marcus Aurelius, who reminded us that obstacles are the catalysts for progress. Do not entertain any doubt or hesitation. Instead, march forward with the certainty that you are not only reclaiming what was lost, but surpassing it in every conceivable way. Your transformation is the blueprint of modern Stoic living, an embodiment of Stoic principles that have been celebrated and revered throughout the ages. Now is the time to be powerful. Now is the time to master life. Stand tall, be decisive, and let the world witness the undeniable truth that when a man evolves beyond his past, he reclaims his destiny with unmatched strength and honor, leaving behind the shadows of yesterday and stepping into the brilliant light of a victorious tomorrow. 10. Let her chase the man you've become. Don't chase her. Don't explain. Don't beg. Be silent. Be still. Be the man who no longer waits. The moment you stopped trying to win her back was the moment she started noticing you again. You're not in that race anymore. You've redirected your energy inward. And that kind of focus is magnetic. You didn't fake strength. You forged it. You stopped performing and started transforming. That's not a strategy. That's the blessing of Stoicism. You chose self-respect over validation, growth over guessing. You've become the modern Stoic, grounded, silent, and absolutely sure of your path. While other men plead, you prepare. She isn't attracted to the man who begged. She's drawn to the man who became untouchable. That shift, it isn't to punish her. It's to protect your peace. You're not being cold. You're being clear. Your presence used to be expected. Now it's earned. Let her feel your absence. Let her wonder. Let her chase, because now you are the reward. You no longer need to prove anything. You don't need her validation. You carry the calm of the old Stoic, a man who walks away not to hurt her, but to heal himself. And in that stillness, she will start to question everything. Who you've become. Why did she leave what she lost? This isn't revenge, this is a revelation. You've become the man who doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, doesn't follow. You don't speak, you show, you don't wait, you work. That's power, that's presence. That's what draws her back. Not your words, but your silence. Not your need, but your evolution. Let her earn what she once took for granted. Be untouchable, be unshaken. Be the storm behind the stillness. That's the modern Stoic way. Thanks for watching, my friend. Here's the truth. When you show up as your best self, ungrounded and at peace, you don't chase, you attract. You stop begging to be seen and start walking like someone who knows his worth. So remember this. You are the prize. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Evolve for you, not for validation. The ones who get it will see it, without you needing to perform. If that landed with you, drop a comment below. Let me know what part hit the hardest, or simply write "I choose power over pursuit." And if you're ready for that next level, it's waiting. Take care, and walk tall. How to make any woman miss you badly even if she's not interested. Modern Stoic. Absence sharpens love. Presence strengthens it. Thomas Fuller. Let's be honest. Few things are more disheartening than investing your time, energy, and best self into a woman who meets you with coldness or indifference. You show up, you offer your attention, maybe even your vulnerability, and in return, silence, disinterested, a wall. Welcome to modern dating, where attention is cheap, validation is instant, and options are endless. In this noisy, fast-moving world, how do you become the man she can't stop thinking about? The one who lingers in her mind even after the conversation ends. Here's the truth few men are ever told. You don't make a woman miss you by doing more. You make her miss you by being more and knowing exactly when to step back. The mistake most men make is chasing, explaining, proving. That energy screams insecurity. It kills mystery, and it tells her you need her more than she needs you. But the men who stand out, the rare 5%, understand something deeper. Desire isn't earned through pressure. It's created through presence, absence, and purpose. If she's distant, it's not rejection, it's an opportunity. It means she hasn't felt that emotional pull toward you yet. Your job isn't to push harder, it's to pull away with intent, to become the man who doesn't need to chase, because he's too grounded to beg, too focused to flinch, and too magnetic to ignore. That's when she starts thinking about you, replaying your words, watching your stories, wondering, why can't I get him off my mind? That's how attraction begins, in your absence, not your over-effort. In this video, I'll walk you through 8 clear, strategic steps that flip the script. No games, no gimmicks, just time-tested principles that make you unforgettable, even if she's not interested now. This isn't manipulation. It's emotional self-mastery. It's time to move differently. It's time to become the man who's worth missing. 1. Don't try to impress her. The biggest mistake most men make when dealing with a woman who seems disinterested is slipping into what I call impress mode. It's subtle at first, but unmistakable. Suddenly, the job title is louder, the car is shinier, the watch gets flashed, the gym results find their way into the conversation, and life becomes a highlight reel, presented not out of joy, but out of need. That need to be noticed, to be validated, to be picked. But here's the hard truth: trying to impress a woman who isn't already interested doesn't make her curious. It confirms her indifference. You may think you're showing her your best self, but what she actually sees is a man who feels he's not enough without her approval. And once she senses that it's over, not because she's cruel, but because women are wired to feel attraction for men who radiate inner value, not men who beg for it. She might be polite. She might say, "That's impressive," or offer a nice smile. But the damage is done. The emotional tension is gone. And where there's no tension, there's no desire. If you truly want a woman to miss you, to feel your absence, to think about you when you're not around, to quietly wonder why she's suddenly drawn to you, then stop performing, stop auditioning, stop throwing credentials and charm at her like confetti. You don't win her attention by pushing, you win it by pulling back. You let her lean in. What does that look like? Presence over performance, stillness over spectacle, grounded energy instead of nervous energy. This is not about manipulation. It's about mastering yourself. A woman feels the difference instantly between a man who needs her to validate his worth and a man who's already centered, calm, and in control. That's the power of Stoicism. A Stoic man doesn't chase admiration. He commands respect through his quiet certainty. He doesn't brag about what he's done, because he knows what he's capable of. And that knowledge is enough. In a Stoic life, you become less interested in how someone reacts to you and more invested in how you react to the world. You operate from internal stability, not external reward. And women feel that deeply. While most men are clamoring for attention, the Stoic man sits back, observes, and lets his absence speak volumes. "Why isn't he trying to win me?" becomes the whisper in her mind. And that whisper, that subtle pull of uncertainty, is where longing begins. You must understand mystery matters. Confidence is quiet, and detachment is attractive, not because it's cold, but because it shows strength. Real, masculine strength, the kind that doesn't fold when faced with indifference. If your self-worth is shaken just because she hasn't texted back, You're not living with intention, you're reacting, chasing, pleading for approval. And that's not love. That's emotional dependency dressed up as courtship. Don't fall into that trap. Stand still. Be grounded. Let her feel that you're not trying to earn her. You're inviting her to discover you. That's a massive difference. And in that difference, desire grows. If you show her you're full with or without her, she'll feel that. If you make it clear through your actions that her interest doesn't define your value, she'll start wondering what makes you so whole. That's the secret. You don't make her miss you by being more visible. You make her miss you by being more valuable. And value doesn't shout, it doesn't beg, it doesn't perform. It just is. When you embody that truth, when you live by Stoic lessons and build your life from within, not based on who gives you attention, then you become the kind of man she doesn't just want. She remembers. Long after the others fade away. 2. Become a man of mystery. Don't hand her a manual on how to figure you out. Be the riddle she can't stop trying to solve. If you want to make any woman, even one who seems cold, aloof, or utterly disinterested, miss you so badly it sneaks into her dreams, then you must become a man of mystery. Not aloof, not arrogant, just unpredictable. Be the storm with calm eyes. The modern Stoic understands this better than most. That restraint is not weakness, it's power. The old Stoic didn't shout his worth, he let silence echo with meaning. You do not need to broadcast your every thought, feeling, or past wound to gain her affection. In fact, that's exactly what you shouldn't do, and that's what most men do, and that's why most men get boxed, labeled, and shelved under just a friend. They show up with their hearts in their hands and their stories spilling out. There's no edge, no chase, no curiosity left to stir the pot of desire. Women crave emotional tension. It's not the knowing, it's the not knowing that draws her in. The man she can't fully pin down, the one whose thoughts feel like a novel with missing chapters. That man is unforgettable. You must cultivate that magnetic uncertainty, that sense that there's a layer of you she hasn't touched yet, not by being cold, but by being composed. The blessing of Stoicism lies in its mystery, the calm, controlled air of a man who reveals himself in pieces, not paragraphs. Drop hints, share shadows. Let her imagination work overtime. And when she starts wondering what you're doing, who you're with, what you're thinking, that's when the magic begins. Because when you're not in the room and she's still thinking about you, you're no longer just a man in her life. You're a presence in her mind. You don't win her over by being the loudest or the neediest. You win her by being unforgettable. You win her by letting silence speak for you. Be disciplined in your self-reveal. Be the man who doesn't overshare, who doesn't chase validation like a boy, but who holds his cards because he knows their worth. That is the essence of the modern Stoic. He doesn't beg for attention. He earns obsession. And that, my friend, is how you make her miss you, not with words, but with the haunting feeling that she never fully had you to begin with. And if this hit you like it should, drop a comment right now. I don't chase, I create curiosity. Like this video, subscribe for more modern Stoic wisdom, and never forget, being a mystery isn't a game, it's a strategy. Stay sharp, stay stoic. 3. Master the art of disappearing. If you want a woman to miss you, especially one who seems uninterested, you must master the most underestimated power move in modern dating. Disappearing with dignity. This isn't ghosting. This isn't punishment. This is discipline. This is strategy. This is Stoic control. Disappearing is not an emotional tantrum. It is an act of self-respect. You're not stepping away because you're defeated. You're stepping back because you refuse to beg for validation. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When a man disappears with intention, he declares, I do not chase what does not choose me. Say it again. I do not chase what does not choose me. That is strength. That is power. That is the way of the modern Stoic. Most men fear disappearing. They think silence means surrender. They think backing off means they've lost. But understand this truth: you cannot be missed if you're always there. A woman cannot feel your absence if you never give her a chance to experience it. Constant availability kills attraction. Familiarity numbs value. You are not valuable when you are always accessible. Disappearing creates contrast. Contrast sparks curiosity. Curiosity pulls her back in. When the rhythm is broken, when the pattern changes, the mind becomes alert. She begins to ask, where is he? Why did he stop calling? Why do I suddenly feel this silence? That's when the seed is planted. That's when you're no longer a man in the background. You become a mystery, a force, a question that demands an answer. Let me be clear, this is not a game. This is not manipulation. This is a Stoic principle. Sayanina, the wise man never gives energy to what drains him. He detaches, he lets go, he watches, he waits. He does not chase. He is not convinced. He values his peace over her presence. That is how you master yourself. That is how you master life. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one, said Marcus Aurelius. Let that guide your actions. Be so grounded in your purpose, so focused on your mission, that your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. Become a man she notices when he's no longer there. Disappear not to punish her, but to empower yourself. Don't explain, don't defend, don't announce your exit. Just go silent, pull back, focus on your craft, sharpen your body, and elevate your mind. Live with intention. Walk the Stoic path. Let her feel the weight of your absence. That weight is what teaches her your worth. That's when she'll miss you. That's when she'll see you. That's when the power shifts. This is the mindset of the man who commands attention without chasing it. This is the code of the modern Stoic. So master it. Disappear with strength. Return only if it's worthy. And if she never comes looking, good. You just saved yourself from a lifetime of begging for crumbs. Victory isn't getting her back. Victory is becoming a man who never needed to chase in the first place. 4. Let her hear about you, not from you. Gentlemen, here's one of the most elegant yet overlooked moves in modern Stoic life: learning the art of indirect presence. You want her to miss you, to wonder about you, to crave your attention again, even when she wasn't showing much interest to begin with. Then stop flooding her inbox like a desperate poet lost in the 2000s. Don't be the guy constantly poking, texting, liking, or calling just to stay relevant. That's not power, that's panic, and panic never attracts. Presence does. Here's the trick. Be heard without speaking directly. Let her catch wind of you, not from your lips, but from the world around her. You must master the quiet magic of influence. It's the kind of influence that doesn't beg for attention. It earns it. That means you live your life so vividly, so clearly, that people can't help but talk about you. You let your actions echo. You let your growth be noticed. By mutual friends, subtle updates, social media glimpses, even by your absence in places she used to see you, you become a story whispered, not shouted. This is Stoicism in practice. It's not about faking anything. It's about living so authentically and powerfully that the world starts to report your progress on your behalf. As the old Stoic lesson goes, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. You don't talk about how much you're growing. You grow. You don't tell her you've moved on. You move. You don't post thirst traps. You post passion, purpose, power. Be the man who radiates momentum. And let's be honest, in today's noisy, desperate, and oversharing world, a man who doesn't seek constant attention is practically a unicorn. Rare, mysterious, compelling. Why? Because when she hears that you're leveling up, without her in the frame, it stings, it sparks, it spins the wheels in her head. Why isn't he trying to talk to me? How come I'm hearing about him from others? Is he better without me? That emotional curiosity is where desire is born, not through a double tap on her filtered brunch photo. Remember, you're not showing off. You're showing up for yourself. You're not rubbing it in. You're rising above that. That's the Stoic life. That's dignity in motion. You stop explaining and start demonstrating. You stop needing approval and start moving with purpose. And the moment she hears you're becoming better without her, that's when the shift happens. That's when the silence becomes magnetic. So don't be the echo in her inbox. Be the whisper in her world. Let her hear the sound of your life expanding, even if her name is no longer part of the script. That's strength. That's seduction. That's Stoicism at work. Let her feel your distance. Let her witness your evolution from afar. And above all, be the man worth hearing about. If this resonated with you, like the video. Share it with a brother who needs this reminder, and hit subscribe for more Stoic wisdom that sharpens your edge. Comment to lock it in. I let my life speak louder than my words. Let her hear about you without you having to say a thing. That's the modern Stoic way. 5. Build a life she can't ignore. Don't chase her. Don't beg. Don't craft texts like a high school poet hoping she'll feel something. Be the man who turns the mirror on himself and says, I'm not done yet. Because let's be honest, there's nothing more magnetic than a man lost in the fire of his own mission. When a man leans into his purpose, when he stops seeking validation from women and starts sculpting his own path, something shifts, quietly, powerfully. She notices. And even if she doesn't, yet the world does. That's the beauty of it. You're not leveling up to win her back. You're leveling up because you're done playing small. The modern Stoic doesn't scream for attention. He becomes the kind of man whose silence makes noise. He goes to the gym not to flex, but to fortify. He reads not to impress, but to grow sharper, wiser, colder, in the best way. He builds his business like a fortress. Every rep, every book, every deal is a quiet declaration, I'm becoming undeniable. And here's the truth. The woman who once scrolled past you, doubted you, dismissed you, she'll feel the gap. Not because you rubbed it in her face, but because the blessing of Stoicism is that it speaks volumes without needing to say a word. You become the man she thought didn't exist. This isn't about bitterness. It's not revenge. It's the old Stoic way, detached, but not disinterested, grounded, not aloof. You're no longer trying to impress anyone. You're becoming someone no one can forget. That's the line. That's the difference. She may not see you now, but if you commit to building, truly building, your body, your mind, your world, she will. And by the time she looks again, you may not even care. Or none of that. That's the power. That's the paradox, though you stop needing her. And that's when the respect begins. And make no mistake, respect is the foundation of desire. Without it, there's nothing but dust. Be dangerous in your peace. Be ruthless in your focus. Be selfish in the best possible way. Because a man on a mission becomes a gravitational force. Not because he's loud, but because he's still. He walks with weight. The modern Stoic doesn't chase. He attracts. He doesn't explain. He shows. He doesn't need to be seen. but he can't be ignored. That's the magic. That's the blessing of Stoicism. It teaches you to care deeply but act wisely, so to feel fully but live freely, to love without losing yourself. So stop waiting for her to come around and stop wondering if she's thinking about you. Be the man who leaves echoes in her silence. Build a life so rich, so grounded, so full that she realizes she didn't just lose a guy, she lost a force. That's the win. That's the quiet revenge. And if you do it right, by the time she misses you badly, you'll be long gone. Not bitter, not broken, just better. As the old Stoic would say, control yourself or be controlled. You choose. 6. Make her question her value in your life. Most men give away their power too easily. They chase, they explain, they validate. But you must become the kind of man who doesn't flinch when she pulls away. You must be the man who stands firm, silent, composed, like a modern-day Marcus Aurelius. When you stop reacting, when you withhold the validation she's grown used to, you awaken something powerful inside her uncertainty. That is your weapon. Most women walk through life expecting to hold influence over the men they encounter. Emotional control, attention, significance. When you remove that influence, subtly and without bitterness, you flip the script. You take back control. She begins to question. She begins to doubt. Was I wrong about him? Why isn't he chasing me? Did I matter at all? These are not passing thoughts. These are deep emotional hooks that shake her sense of security. That mystery, that emotional turbulence makes her miss you badly, because now you are the question she can't answer. And we always chase the questions we cannot answer. The Stoic man doesn't beg for validation. He doesn't need to be wanted. He chooses who is worthy of his attention. As Epictetus once said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Want less, need less. Show restraint, show discipline, and that is strength, that is power. She doesn't miss you when you give her everything. She misses you when she realizes she no longer has access to what she once assumed was hers. That shift in power changes everything. Let her wonder where she stands. Let her feel the silence. That silence speaks louder than words. Don't chase. Don't explain. Don't fill the gap. Be the gap. Be the mystery. Apply Stoic principles to your emotional life. You are not here to entertain drama or chaos. You are here to master yourself. And when you master yourself, others take notice. Women, especially, take notice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. In modern life, this is your shield. Most men are emotional slaves, reacting, pleading, proving. But you are not most men. You are carved from stone. You are deliberate, calm, unpredictable. And in that calmness, you become unforgettable. Her emotions crave answers. When you stop giving them, you become the one thing she can't define. And what we can't define, we obsess over. Let's be clear, this is not manipulation. This is power through discipline. This is choosing yourself. This is Stoic wisdom in action. You're not doing this to hurt her. You're doing this to reclaim your center, to elevate your value, to stop being available at every whim. You must disrupt the dynamic. You must become the man she can't quite figure out. That mystery makes her miss you deeply. That distance builds desire. Let her come to you. Let her feel the absence of your presence. Because when a man governed by Stoic principles withdraws, it echoes, it shakes the ground she walks on. And in that silence, she begins to remember everything you brought into her life. You don't need to be louder. You need to be still, more exact, more resolved, The world tells you to chase. I'm telling you to hold and stand tall. Be the man who chooses, not the one who waits to be chosen. Victory belongs to the man who knows when to step back, because he understands that silence creates gravity. And gravity pulls everything back in. You want her to miss you, then stop being available. Stop explaining. Let her sit in the silence. Let her question everything. That is how you make a woman miss you, badly. That is how a modern Stoic wins. 7. Never show you care more. This is the golden rule, the law of emotional gravity, the line in the sand that separates men who lead from men who chase. Never, under any circumstance, let it seem like you care more than she does. The moment she senses your happiness depends on her affection. Your power slips through your fingers like sand. She won't say it. She may not even know it consciously, but she feels it. And what she feels is this: the challenge is gone. The mystery is dead. The chase is over, and so is her desire. Here's the truth you probably already know deep down: when you care more, you act differently. You get softer. You overtext. You seek reassurance. You anticipate rejection before it even arrives. You become the emotional version of fast food, convenient, always available, no effort needed. And what do people do with what's too available? They ignore it. They take it for granted. They look for something harder to reach. Desire doesn't thrive in certainty. It breathes in tension. You don't need to be cold. That's not what this is about. Don't become a statue. You don't need to stop caring altogether. You just need to stop showing it in ways that cost you your presence, your pride, and your peace. You don't stop engaging. You engage with purpose. You don't give her your heart before she earns your trust. You don't play your cards when she hasn't even stepped up to the table. That's the art of control. That's the strength of living a Stoic life, still waters that run deep. Calm doesn't mean indifferent. Calm means secure. It means rooted, like a tree in the storm. When she pulls back, you don't panic. You don't text something desperate. You don't ask what's wrong. You stay grounded. You trust your value. You walk forward with quiet confidence. And in that silence, in that pause, she starts to feel something she didn't expect. Doubt. Did I misjudge him? Why isn't he reacting? Why do I keep thinking about him? These aren't just passing questions. They're seeds of longing, emotional splinters that dig deeper each day, and that's how she starts to miss you. Not because you tried harder, but because you didn't flinch when she pulled away. That's real power. That's Stoicism in action. Marcus Aurelius, the original emotional gladiator, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Take that in. Tattoo it on your heart. You don't control her choices, her feelings, her whim. But you do control how you respond." That's the Stoic lesson most men never learn. Self-mastery is the ultimate game changer in love. And don't get it twisted. This is not manipulation. This is alignment. You're not pretending to care less. You're choosing to care correctly. You're choosing not to overextend. Not to offer emotional intimacy on a silver platter to someone who hasn't yet earned a seat at your table. You're not chasing the illusion of love. You're standing firm in your standards. Because let's face it, if you're always available, always responding, always bending over backward, then what reason does she have to value your presence? What makes you special if your attention is a free buffet? You must become the man whose energy is earned, not assumed. You must learn the power of silence, of delayed response, of graceful absence. Sometimes disappearing is more powerful than showing up. That's the core of the Stoic life. Discipline over impulse, self-respect over pleasing people. You don't react to every emotion that floats your way. You don't hand over your sense of worth just because someone smiles at you. You build your value in solitude. You measure your words. You guard your time. And most importantly, you never hand your crown to someone who hasn't proven they deserve to walk beside you. So here's the move. Let her feel the distance. Let her feel your silence. Let her question what went wrong, and don't correct her, don't explain, don't chase. Be the man who walks away with power in his step and peace in his soul. That absence will echo louder than any desperate words. That silence will haunt her more than your presence ever could. Because when you don't flinch, don't beg, don't lose yourself, she finally sees what you are: solid, composed, valuable, and what's rare is missed. What's stoic is magnetic. What's calm is irresistible. So remember this: you don't get her to miss you by giving more. You make her miss you by giving less. But with purpose, with strength, with dignity. That's the move. That's the rule. That's how a modern man guided by Stoicism becomes unforgettable. And that, gentlemen, is how you win without lifting a finger. Without. 8. Be emotionally independent. Emotional independence is a game changer. When a woman sees a man who depends on her for validation, approval, or emotional support, it signals weakness. She'll instinctively pull away. You need to be emotionally self-sufficient. Understand this: your happiness, your value, your sense of worth, they must come from within. Don't look to others to fill the void in your life. The moment you stop needing external validation, you immediately become more attractive. Women are drawn to men who possess self-control, who don't depend on them to feel whole. This doesn't just happen by accident. It's a deliberate choice, a conscious decision. You must master this. When you stop giving away your power by seeking constant approval, you tap into a deeper, more attractive version of yourself. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This is a key Stoic principle. Happiness is rooted internally, not externally. When you live by this principle, you radiate confidence and self-sufficiency. You show her that you're not looking to her to complete you. You're already whole. And that, my friend, is a rare magnetic quality that will have her thinking about you long after you've left her presence. Your emotional independence is a testament to your maturity. You must develop the ability to control your emotions. Do not let them control you. Be the master of your own state of mind, no matter what life throws at you. This is the way of the Stoic, like Marcus Aurelius taught us. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you can remain calm, composed, and centered in any situation, you're not only respecting yourself, but you're also commanding respect from others. And women, they will respect you because you don't let your emotions dictate your actions. You move with purpose, not impulsivity. When you're emotionally stable, you exude an aura of invulnerability. This draws women in. It sparks curiosity. They'll start wondering, what's his secret? Why doesn't he need anyone to feel validated? And that's when the magic happens. Now, here's where the strategy comes into play. When you're not constantly available, when you're not always vying for attention, you make her realize your worth. You've created a healthy emotional distance, not through games, but through a genuine understanding of your own self-worth. You stop seeking validation and approval, and as a result, she begins to miss you. She starts to respect you more. And the key to this lies in consistency. Stay true to your emotions. Be the man who doesn't fold under pressure. Be the man who doesn't crumble when things don't go his way. This is Stoic power. You're not easily swayed. You remain constant. The power of emotional independence is not just about not needing her. It's about having the strength and wisdom to stay true to yourself, no matter what. When you learn to stand firm in your own values, you inspire respect. You create a sense of longing. You make her miss you without even trying. This is not about manipulation. This is about mastery. Mastery over yourself, your emotions, your actions, and women. They respect mastery. Be the man who lives by Stoic principles. Be the man who doesn't look for approval but rather sets the standard for what a high-quality man is. Your emotional independence becomes your most powerful asset. When you master this, you're not just attracting attention, you're commanding it. And that, my friend, is when women begin to truly miss you. They'll respect your presence. They'll long for you, because you are the man who needs nothing from her but offers everything. You've created an aura of emotional independence that makes you irresistible. That is the power you have as a modern Stoic. Now, go claim it. Hey, thanks for sticking with me till the end. Here's the thing. If you want to make a woman miss you, especially one who isn't initially interested, you've got to shift your focus. It's all about mastering emotional control, embracing silence, and letting a little mystery work its magic. When you stop trying so hard to prove your worth and start owning it instead, that's when curiosity kicks in. And guess what? That's when she starts to miss you. Not because you chased her, but because you became unforgettable. So take this advice to heart. Keep working on yourself. Focus on your own growth. And remember, it's your presence, not your desperation, that will make you stand out. Stay grounded, stay stoic, and let the magic happen. Catch you next time.